Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Awaken Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And if you are new to me, to my channel, to my show, please do, if you're watching live or on the replay on YouTube, please do subscribe and please join us for our live shows and our on-demand replays. And it is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring forward to you these wonderful speakers and guests who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their energies, their healing practices, activations, etc., to help us to thrive in our lives, to have more joy in our lives and happiness in our lives, and at the same time to raise the vibration frequency of the planet, the collective, and ourselves. So today I'm excited. We have a brand new guest on the show with us today. Elaina Cochran is here with us, brand new to our show. May not be new to you, but she's brand new to our show. And today we're going to be talking about clearing loops and binds from our fields of creations from the collective consciousness. And so some of what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about forming a deeper relationship with and understanding of our energetic self. We're going to learn to identify and remove where we are holding patterns and loops of collective created thought forms. And we're going to experience a guided clearing and activation. We may be taking some live questions. We'll see when at that point where we're at after the guided clearing and activation. We're going to go with the flow. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to go with the flow, and we're just going to enjoy. So be willing to receive. So for those of you who do not know Elaina, she is an intuitive and quantum energy healer, a light weaver, and earth wisdom carrier, teacher, and speaker. Elaina holds the potent ability to see each individual through the lens of love and beauty, creating a safe space for vast expansion and transformation. Pulled from a young age to experience what she considers real magic, to know what exists beyond our five senses, to feel firsthand that in every moment we are loved, supported, and in communion with our beautiful earth as aspects of nature ourselves, connected to the deep love that weaves all things, and to our team of light guides and ancestors. Elaina loves to reawaken the remembrance of our beauty, sovereignty, and ability to create a life here of empowerment, peace, and abundance in order to contribute to the powerful transformations occurring on the planet at this time. And as we all know, there's a lot happening at this time, a lot of transformation, if we're willing to receive it. So please join me in welcoming Elaina to the show. Like I said, it is her first time. So Elaina, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Me too. And so, Elaina, because it's your first time, can you just take a few moments and share with us a little bit about your journey, how you came to be a healer, speaker, guide, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of explain it as it's been an evolution. As you mentioned in my bio, I've always innately felt really curious and pulled to know what's beyond what we're told we are able to do. I came here with a sensitivity, but not necessarily with the framework to develop it. So when I was in about fourth grade, I had an out-of-body experience. My family has land about an hour and a half from where I live, and I remember it really vividly. It was a spring day. I was walking through one of our pastures, and suddenly I was looking at the earth from above, I just felt this kind of whoosh, and I was looking down and kind of in amazement that I was alive again and here again. And I felt just flooded with a knowing that was kind of beyond the comprehension of my human brain at the time. But there was just this deep sense of love and deep sense of remembrance. And after that, like I said, I went a little dormant, so to speak, but always kind of following the pulls as they came about. And then about 14 years ago, I just really went deep dive in, and it kind of started with hearing the phrase walk in both worlds. And when I heard that, I didn't even know what it meant, but my whole, all my cells kind of got electricity running through them. And I was like, I don't even know how, but that's what I'm supposed to do. And so it's really been a continuation of following my yeses, is what I tell people, not even really knowing why I was doing something at the time, but learning more, healing more, clearing more. And I feel really strongly that when we do that, there's almost like a point where there's a terminal velocity. You know, you start clearing your thick, heavy things that are right in front of you. And then each time we do that, we're creating space. So I like to use myself as personal example a lot. One of my patterns that I had to heal was scarcity. So, you know, when scarcity was running strong, it was always in my face. I always had opportunities to experience it. So when I clear that, then we start to create space to where our ability to connect, which is always there, is expanded. I like to compare it to exercise, like we're always strengthening those muscles. You know, the more we clear those really thick in our face patterns, it opens up that space so that we start to have the ability to play with expansion and higher frequencies and possibilities, again, that always exist, but we're also kind of clearing our lenses, you know, as we clear our patterns, we're dusting off our lenses so we're able to see more of what's available.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. And like Karen says, following my yeses. I totally agree. I try mostly to follow my yeses. And sometimes, you know, our yeses don't make sense to anybody else, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't even make sense to us. That it's like, this is what I'm being called to do, or this is the path that I'm being called to take, or whatever, right? But so you just follow that. And I love what you said about how those opportunities for expansion are always available. Those opportunities for connection with source divine is always available for us. But at the same time, we sometimes get sidetracked, we get distracted, we get pulled away by life, you know, to be honest. And then it takes us a little while to come back. It's like, oh yeah, hold on, let me center and let me come back to what's really important.
Yeah.
Right? That happens a lot
Yeah.
for everybody. So I just want everybody to know that's totally normal too.
Completely. You know, I had shared with you, I'll share with our audience, and I'm not saying this for pity or drama, but just factually, this is a space my life has been in. My dad passed away in April, and then my mother had a stroke last Saturday. And so for me, it has really been a deepening for myself to understand how this always applies. You know, I feel like I'm given the opportunity right now to anchor in more deeply, to walk my talk, so to speak, because truly, what we're doing, whether we're meditating or connecting with our guides or connecting into energies, the true purpose is to bring it all the way through into our physical realities. You know, it's not the separate space that we access and then we go back to real life. When we realize there's truly no separation, so we go into, like I said, these other energetic spaces, we're really just aligning them into whatever we're doing in this moment. So whether it's tending to a loved one or taking care of our kids, or, you know, and that's really it. And it becomes this opportunity to bring ease, even when we're in those spaces of grief or spaces of sleep deprivation, as I am right now.
And you know, like I said, and everybody knows this, so we're not going to go into my story. But my husband had a stroke 2.5 years ago, and it was massive. Like, I mean, he was not. It was 50-50, and the doctor said if he wasn't as young as he was 49, he wouldn't have survived because he had like so many different things. So it was a major, massive reset for him. But at the same time, it was a major, massive reset for me because it forced me to go deeper and forced me to look at my priorities. And my community was amazing, so helpful. I mean, it brings me to tears when I think about that. It's like they were so helpful, so loving, so kind, so generous, so supportive. Oh my God, you know, it's like, and so, you know, it forced me to go deeper as well. It forced me to be more present with what was going on. Of course, I had those freak out moments once in a while.
Yeah,
That's
we're
normal.
human.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
human.
But on the whole of it, it was, you know, I was, a great experience, because it was like, oh my God, but I never want to do it again. So I was like,
Yes.
I don't need to repeat it. But the thing is, it is about taking that is also an opportunity for you to go deeper within yourself, and, for your own spiritual growth and advancement and expansion as well.
Yeah,
So like I said, if you need anything, please do reach out, because like I said, I have that
you have
experience.
that wisdom. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have that. So it's like, it is something. But, about this whole, forming a deeper relationship with and understanding our energetic self, we don't need to have a catastrophe happen for us to do that. So please don't think that you all need to have something majorly tragic happen, for you to have that deeper understanding or that deeper relationship with yourself. That is something that we can cultivate every day and every moment.
Absolutely. And kind of another layer of what you just said is like recognizing when you're in your story or someone else's. My mother's stroke is her story, and I'm part of that as her daughter, but it doesn't mean that happened for my spiritual growth, as you say. It's, she has her own experiences here to have, and I get to choose how I navigate that as her daughter, and she gets to choose how she navigates this. Yeah, so just having that awareness can bring more discernment, and because when we get to those places that are harder, it's, everyone knows it's the easiest to feel connected when we're in the environment that feels perfect, when everything's quiet, when the dogs aren't barking and the kids don't need things. But really, those growth points sometimes come when we're able to still access those spaces in those less comfortable places in life. But again, we don't have to have that in order to grow. It's all different levels of opportunity, really.
But I think it's very important for all of us. I mean, I'm saying it's very important, but it's like, it is the most important thing as far as I'm concerned, is to have that deeper relationship with ourselves and with source or higher being or whatever we connect to. Having that connection. I mean, we're always connected, but having that relationship is what I want to say. Having that relationship with the divine and yourself is the most important opportunity for us to expand and grow and develop in consciousness. And when we do that, I feel, for myself anyways, I feel that when I'm able to do that more and more, it not only benefits myself and my family and everybody and the collective and my community, but everyone, it helps, it benefits, right? Because that's
Absolutely.
that's who you become. That is part of your energy signature, and that is what's radiating out to others.
Absolutely. It's our I am. And I like to remind people of our I am, because it's a complete sentence. When we connect to the reality of our I am, that's it. That's us. There's nothing else to add, unless we choose what our experience is going to be or where we're going to focus our energy. But I feel like you're just bringing awareness to, we have the opportunity to connect to our I am, which is already complete. And from that space of completion, we can still learn and grow and evolve as a human. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And my goodness, there's so much we could talk about this.
I know, I love it.
I'm so excited about this. And I was like, I have to.
That's
make
why
sure
I didn't want to
reschedule.
Oh
yeah.
I was like, no, I want to be in this energy with you right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so part of, like when you're talking about the I am, we are, the I am presence, the I am is who and what we truly are at our core, at our essence. But in our individual reality, when we say I am healthy, for example, that is our personality, including the physical, emotional, mental, etc. personality self, experiencing that, embodying that, right? It's not the I am presence of who we are, that essence of who we are, the soul essence being that we are. That is always pure consciousness, really, right? But when we're saying, because I know people like to say affirmations with I am, right? And I was explaining this to my to one of my groups a couple of weeks ago. I was like, but when you're saying I am healthy or I am wealthy, that's not the I am presence that you're talking about. That's your personality that you want to experience and express in the world. Am I right?
Yeah, I feel yes, and I feel like it's actually a blend of both. So I feel that it's connecting to that I am, that is our truth. And then instead of I am healthy, seeing that as healthy is over here, even regardless if we're experiencing a health challenge, but still, are we creating space with our words, our outlook, or our energy between where we want to be and where we are right now? And so I feel like when we connect to the I am truth, then we can actually marinate in the frequency of what our brain perceives as separate from us. But we do it right now, and we do it over and over, and then that creates alignment. Because I feel, and speaking from my own experience too, I feel like humans really enjoy putting obstacles. I mean, that's part of why we're here, right? Is to have human experience, because this I am part of us really can do anything already, but we chose as souls to come here and have human experience. So it's like both perspectives are true always, because we're multifaceted, we're multidimensional. But I feel that part of this quickening of energy that most people are feeling on the planet is kind of collectively the awareness of the perception of the gap that we place in between ourselves and what we want. That is shrinking, and in our perception, when in reality we're connected to it always.
Yeah, and that gap sometimes is where we have the issues. We go into judgment because of that gap, that perceived gap, we'll say, even, right?
And it's like, are we opening our energy? Or are we closing it down?
Yeah, exactly. So when you go into judgment and into that separation, then you're closing it down, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So, and then that's where I think sometimes the clearing needs to take place, the healing needs to take place, is to heal that gap.
Yes.
Right. So I know some of what we're going to talk about today is about learning to identify and remove where we are holding patterns and loops of collected creative thought form. But those are those collected creative thought form, that the gap between who we are at the I am and our personality. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's necessary, because again, going back to kind of earlier in our conversation, when we're in the thick of really strong patterns, you know, again, I'll just use scarcity in as example. When scarcity is really running the show, it's a very heavy, consistent, frequent experience. So even though when scarcity was really running in me, I still, in that moment, in those moments, had the ability to connect to prosperity and align with that. I had kind of cluttered up the space in between energetically. And so that's why the clearings and the releases are so important, because again, it just rids us of the debris so that we can feel what's available.
Absolutely. And so how, then people are going to want to know, how can I do this? Because I have scarcity in my life, or I have relationship issues or challenges, or you know, a lot of people are still stuck in the, I don't know what to do with my life, with my soul purpose, right? So it's like all of that stuff, which is like, it's so interesting to observe. And I'm like, so there's still some areas that we are still being challenged with. And it's not just at the individual level, it's definitely at the collective level. And there's been a lot of fear too, especially in the past couple of years. There's been a lot of fear that people have been in. And so all of that we're not going to go into like why anything that's not important, but the, the fear, the lack, the insecurity, the separation even from who you truly are and your personality, there is going to be right now still a little bit of a separation. I would love to say we are or can all experience the I am presence 24/7, but I truly have not met anybody who has been that way 24/7. So it's still a work in progress, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're all here evolving as humans, but so I'll just share a little bit about why I was called to bring this to the show. And it's been, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, my guides just started bringing this to my attention. They started first showing me how even our evolution is a collective manifestation, right? Because even though there's great discord on the planet, simultaneously, I think we're all aware of how many people are remembering, how many people are waking up. I mean, even if we just use the simple example of how often we hear people talking about energy now versus 5 years ago, right? There's been this great increase in that. And so my guides started showing me that even our awakening is a collective manifestation, because we're all energy, we're all creators. We are all. And so as more individuals remember, heal, clear, wake up, that starts to shift the collective vibration into awakening. So essentially, they were showing me how collectively we're manifesting our planetary shift and awakening. So they started with that. And then they started to show me in the field how, because we are energy and because we're creators, that we create on an individual level. And also we have in the ethers, in the field, in the quantum, created bodies of energy where hundreds, thousands, sometimes millions of people using their creator energy are looped into a theme or themes. So scarcity is one of them. Another, I mean, there's so many. There's, there's things around religion, there's religious woundedness, kind of the inferiority around certain experiences of religion, the less than aspect. Yeah, it's almost infinite. And I don't say that from a negative perspective, but I actually think it's very encouraging, because once we elevate our awareness to know, one of the ways I can clear is to disconnect my energy from these collective creations. It starts to free me up to where I can not be tethered to something unconsciously. I free up that energy, and then I can use it intentionally. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think that that is so important for all of us, because so much of our energy is being tethered to the collective patterns and to the collective consciousness and to the limiting beliefs that is being held in the collective. So definitely that is something that we all need to experience and at the same time be aware of, so that we can clear it for ourselves if possible.
Yeah. And as a general way to start, and we'll go into, kind of, there's a lot of ways to do it, but I'll take us through just an example today. But a general way for yourself is to just start to be in a space of observation, whether you have a feeling that you start to notice is connected just to habit, through upbringing, through, ancestral experience, through your country, your region, your religious background, just start to kind of be aware, is this fully in alignment with me, or is it something that I just kind of have
Yeah, it picks
because
up.
of,
Yeah.
mhm,
And that's the thing, I think it's important to question the best we can, not every
yeah,
thought, but the best we
yeah,
can as they come up. Do I really believe this? Is it really, aligned with my belief system or not? Because there are some things they may not be anymore, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and it's like just being more present with that, and we're starting to question that is going to help us to become aware of more and more of those themes and those patterns, I think.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we don't do it from a space of perfectionism or just always like digging in every moment,
Yeah,
we don't
exactly.
need that, but
We're not looking to clear things,
we can have more fun here than that,
Yes,
but it does,
exactly.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
those
all have to be
days,
serious.
no, and those days of clearing, those days are
Mhm.
gone, right? That
Yeah,
paradigm is no longer working for us. So now it is about
exactly.
enjoying life, but as things come up into our awareness, question and
Yeah,
clear if it
exactly.
makes sense, right? Yeah, don't
It's
go
like
looking for
refinement.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's refinement. And it's really interesting. You can feel in, and we'll do this as well, but I started seeing it, we're all familiar with energy cords, how we cord
Mhm.
into things or other people or places or experiences. So with these energetic creations, I see people corded sometimes, and sometimes I see the energy as loops. So it almost looks like a pulley or like a bit of a stretched rubber band where the energy kind of cycles through you and then it cycles through that collective creation. And it's like you're tapping in and then you're pulling it back to you. So you just kind of keep reliving that experience. So, and interesting how it's shown up.
And I think it's interesting also for myself is like also like what are you identifying with, right? So yes, I mean for now I'm still in the story of my husband, so I'm still identifying with that a little bit, but it's
Yeah,
getting lesser and lesser, right? So the attachment to the story is getting less and less, and some other old
yeah,
stories have like completely dissolved. It's like I have no attachment to some old story, so I know that
yeah,
those patterns have now resolved after I've done like 25 years of healing,
yeah.
etc. Right? So,
No big deal.
totally transparent here. There's some things that took me a while, so I can be stubborn in some ways. But that's the thing. It's just being aware of like what stories am I continuing to repeat over and over again. I mean, if we're repeating a story just for like information wise, but there's no energetic attachment to it, there's no emotional
Yeah,
energy attached to it, that's fine, right? Giving an
yeah,
example kind of thing. But if you're emotionally, energetically attached to something and getting triggered, then you know that there's something there for you to look at, right? And
yeah,
what
absolutely.
belief are you holding on to? And at the same time, I guess you could ask, okay, is this truly mine, or is this a collective belief that I've like been tapped into and I keep feeding it because I keep talking about it or I
Yeah.
keep feeling attached to it in some way?
Yeah, absolutely. And none of this is to bypass our experience or our feelings. So I just like to interject that, we have to feel what's coming up, but it's about letting it flow through and not getting stuck in the repeat of it. For
Can I
sure.
can I just say really quickly about that? Even when you're feeling something, and this is no judgment, this is nothing other than question even that, right?
Yeah.
um I had an experience recently where my niece was feeling something and her mother was saying, well, that's what she's feeling, those are the thoughts that are in her head, that she
Mm,
can't change it. And I said, yes she can, and you can tell her that that's not true.
yeah.
So it's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, so it's like, sometimes it's important to even question our feelings, because sometimes our
Hmm.
memories of our past experiences are not actually accurate. And
Yeah.
I'm saying that with total compassion and understanding completely, but sometimes they're really not, and we have to go back and take a look at like this. Is this still even serving me, and is this truly true? Is this truly what happened? I know I experienced something, but is this truly it, kind of thing? So I don't know, for me it's always it now is about questioning everything, even the past,
Hmm.
even my memories, even my feelings of the past, questioning truly what was really going on, right? So I don't know, that's something to look at for yourself as well, everybody. So just an awareness thing. It's about being aware truly of what is the truth, right? And so that and honoring the truth of whatever that was. Not your truth, but that truth. So there's
Yeah, and even giving yourself permission to come back to like the clean slate place, because on one perspective, time is linear. You know, we have a linear human experience, and then on the other, it's non-linear, it's simultaneous. And so we don't have to drag it. We don't have to drag it forever. You know, we
Yeah.
can come back to that space of neutrality and just creation space.
And also having compassion for yourself, you at that time, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, you know, we didn't have tools that we have now to process emotions or feelings or anything that was
Yeah.
going on. We didn't have those same tools. We didn't have that same capacity at the personality level. Okay, again,
Yeah.
like, yes, we have it all at the I am level. That's not an issue, right? But at the personality level, what capacity do you have, right? So having
Exactly.
compassion for you at that level.
Yeah, I like to say, I just feel that we're, you know, most people are doing from their current level of awareness. And by design, that's supposed to evolve and change, you know, regardless of where we are. Most of us are going to expand, evolve, and change through that our entire life, you know. And
But
so
sometimes
that's
I
why
act like my 5-year-old self.
exactly.
You know, sometimes I react like I'm assuming I did when I was 5, because I was like, it's a very childish way to react, but it's like, that's how I'm reacting. So it's like, there's still part of me that, you know, still
Yeah.
likes to act like that, I guess. I don't know.
And that's why I feel like it's kind of a blend of what we're both saying of, you know, for me, it's like, feel the emotion, because that's the energy that's wanting to go through.
Mhm.
And then, okay. And then you can pause and breathe and look at it.
Exactly. I love that. Exactly. Go through the emotion, and then don't just stay stuck in the emotion and in that energy and in that story, but it's the and then part, right? Then look at it.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so these are, you know, so I guess like what we have been sharing are different ways for all of us to look at some of the patterns and beliefs that we've been holding on to that, you know, are not serving us, that we've been attracting. I hate that word, but anyways, attracting through the collective experience, because we are part of the collective, so we are going to experience that as well, or we can disconnect more and more from the collective experience once we are more formally and firmly established within our I am, I think. That will help us to not be so affected by what's happening in the collective, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, you know, there's so many refinements here. And again, as you said, we definitely are past that period where it's like we have our shovels and we're just constantly like digging out all the stuff. We are in more of a refinement space as a collective, but but we do just have opportunity to feel in with greater consciousness.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody has any questions around that, so I'm not talking about, do you have a personal question about something you want to, but anything about what we've talked about, if you wanted clarity on that, clarification on what we've been talking about, not anything like, this is what's happening in my field, can you clear this? No, I'm just asking if you have anything particular about what we're speaking about. If you have a question about that, please let us know, okay? Because, you know, I don't want you to be confused or missing a piece. Okay, I think this is a really valuable conversation and really important for all of us to start to really look at what we are feeling, what we are experiencing, what we're aware of, etc. So Ellen, you want to unmute yourself? And like I said, just about this topic, not anything personal, because we'll get to that afterwards, maybe. Go ahead, Ellen.
Yeah, hello, good evening or good day. To this topic, I usually feel the collective and my own, but sometimes it is so real because I have it all I feel it's in my cells. And then I get so confused and it's so real in the moment, and then I have to ground myself. And I'm just asking about that because I feel I'm very, sort of empathic, and I really, I don't know what is mine and what is it. How can I sort of become more sure of it? It's really a topic. I'm losing my words now. Yeah, I can just discriminate it, differentiate that it's really what is mine and what is in. Yeah. Am I making sense?
I think so. So
Yeah.
I think what Ellen's saying is about she's really feeling the collective, and is that collective experience her experience or not? And how can she differentiate between her own personal experience and the collective experience, right? And there's another question from Olga about any tip how to go through those energies that want to go through us and let it go. Yeah, of course, absolutely. And so we're gonna talk about that as well. All right. Elaina, you here? You're muted.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
That was interesting. My screen went dark. I could hear you. So I think we're tapping into some big things.
Absolutely.
So, I personally feel that this is, when I refer to seeing this as exercise, absolutely the collective energy is going to be so powerful that discernment can be tricky, especially when we're moving through bigger things, COVID being a recent example. We couldn't go anywhere without, or even be in our homes without like feeling that, but that at the same time is the beauty of this opportunity to really become grounded, as you said, Ellen, first, like always ground and come back. Just sometimes we have to do that multiple times a day, ground and come back, ground and come back. And then when we start to work with our energy body, so the layers of us beyond our physical, then we can start creating stronger boundaries energetically. So that can help start to limit. Words are a little hard for me today too. I mentioned that I'm a little sleep deprived. We can start to shore up our energetic boundaries from the collective as well. And so it can be a bit of a layered process, but I think actually this leads really beautifully into a group process where we can kind of feel some of this, and that also might help you. I'm a big fan of taking people through like the tangible experience, because if you can touch it and really know it, then you can access it again on your own,
Awesome.
So
So
does that feel?
so let's do that. Let's go through the group experience, and then afterwards we will answer some more of the questions about the tips of how to go through those energies, etc. Okay.
And so if it feels good to you, because again, we have a lot of, and I can go just intuitively, but if there's anyone, even you, Laura, would like to bring forward in terms of like collective creations that you want to tap into, we can certainly bring some themes forward, but we've mentioned scarcity a few times, so that might be a good one to start with. So if you're all ready, let's just close down our eyes. And we always begin with the breath. So breathing in through your nose, deep and full, all the way down to your low belly. And depending on where you are, if you can have your feet on the floor, that would be lovely. But if that's not possible, it's totally okay. But we're just going to really ground all the way back down into the body. So feel your sits bones underneath you, feel the soles of your feet. And just begin to notice where your consciousness is. Is it in your head? Is it outside of you? Is it present to what you have to do next? Just take a big, deep breath and bring your consciousness all the way back in your body. So feel your lungs expanding, your bones supporting you. And we all know how to ground here, but let's do that a little bit further. Let's just gently bring our attention to our root chakra. Taking some deep breaths and allowing that energetic center to easily activate, connecting you back to your sense of home within yourself. And maybe you notice sensation, maybe you see color, maybe you feel, maybe you just know. Maybe you just play with your imagination, as this is a powerful doorway. Just allow your experience to be what it is. Now from that root chakra, we'll just send our grounding cord deep down into the earth. Doing so gratefully, connecting to the energies of support, of stability, of safety, nourishment. And even tapping into all the wisdom that's there. And now on your next breath in, just with your intention, call all of your energy back. This is so simple, but the more we do this, the more it nourishes. So take a few deep breaths and I call all of my energy back. Call it back from the people, the places, the spaces, the jobs. Beautiful. And so now let's bring our awareness together right into the center of your energetic heart. Continuing to breathe softly. Sometimes it can feel nourishing to place a hand or two on your heart to just help that connection. And what I like to do here in the heart space is actually ground in. So just like we ground in to the energies of the earth, I like to ground our awareness into the heart because you can feel the subtle shift energetically when you ground into the heart. Can you let yourself really settle in, sink in that I am presence right in your heart? I ground my awareness into the heart. Breathe. And already this is so beautiful. Do you notice the peace and the stillness settling in on us? So we ground our bodies and we ground into the heart because we want to come into our full presence. Because we're just doing this from observation. We are just looking at some of these tethers, loops to collective co-creations from a space of observation. This isn't a space for judgment or fear. It's empowerment when we are made aware of where we are tethered or looped to collective co-creations. We get to choose to free ourselves up, to clear, to heal, and have different experience. So first we're going to feel in to how we can expand our awareness. So breathing here in the heart, having grounded our presence into the heart. Feeling that activation, that warmth, that feel goodness. Let's let it expand. So with our awareness here in the heart, we're going to allow that awareness to grow. With our consciousness here in the heart, we're going to allow it to expand. So let's let your awareness anchored into the heart expand slightly beyond your shoulders. And just notice what you experience. Now let's allow that heart grounded awareness to expand beyond your entire body so you feel like you are enveloped in this awareness, this energy, this consciousness surrounding your entire physical body. Now let's expand your awareness to fill the room that you're in. Let's expand it to fill the building that you're in. And we'll speed it up a little bit now, the town, the city, the country, state, province. Let's expand your awareness as large as the earth. Let's take it beyond our solar system, our galaxy. Allow yourself to expand beyond and beyond. Just take a big breath. You are still grounded. You are still in your heart center. You can expand your consciousness infinitely. Now, because we can each easily do this, we're just going to have a bit of an aerial view. And we're going to feel in. And maybe this one is true for you and maybe it's not. So if it's not, then fantastic. But we're going to look or feel or sense or know that in the field there is an enormous mass of energy that has been generated by millions of people that is tied to the frequency of scarcity. And so can you feel how, as we observe this, there's a heaviness, there's a tightness, there's a darkness. And again, we're not judging, we're just developing discernment and awareness. And so as you observe, and however it appears to you, allow your awareness to come to your body. Often scarcity loops in around the sacral and the mind, anxiety in the belly, tightness in the heart. But I just want you to breathe and ask the intelligence of your body to show you where you feel any connection and trust. Our bodies have a beautiful intelligence of their own, and they will work with us to help clear. Just notice as you scan anywhere that you may be looped in or corded to a collective co-creation of scarcity. Let's take a deep breath. Now we have many ways of clearing. I like to call in Saint Germain for this work. So I'm going to just do so now. So simply take a deep breath, calling in Ascended Master, Saint Germain, to support us in this work. And the way he's shown up for me for this work is just to surround the physical body with that beautiful, clearing violet flame energy. Just take a deep breath, allow yourself to be just surrounded and saturated with that beautiful clearing. And then if you have identified that you have a cord with your intentional conscious awareness, I give myself permission to consciously de-tether from the collective co-creation of scarcity, and just take a deep breath. And everyone is different. If you need to use your hands to feel yourself pulling it out, if you simply use your intention and you allow this cord to dissolve and go back. There's definitely some of you that are pulling it out of the back of the spine, feeling it and seeing it almost like matrix style unplugging. Just big breaths. If your body is wanting to move, sometimes this can be quite a large clearing. Let your body move, shake if you need to just assist the movement of energy. So all cords untethered, just breathe and allow it. Using your grounded I am presence. And where we pull those cords, allow that beautiful violet flame energy to just fill the space. Sometimes, if it has been tethered for a long time, I'll see in sessions, there's almost, when we pull a cord out, there can be kind of black tarry energy that's happening for some of you that just kind of flows out. So if you're feeling some intensity, just use your breath, move your body as you need to, just allow it. So just continuing to allow the cords to be pulled, to be cleared, to be transmuted, letting that beautiful energy flow in and nourish. And again, there's many spaces that we can tether to this. Now we're going to look at some loops. So again, with your observation, allow your body to show you, have I been looped into this pattern energetically? I'm feeling that maybe first we should look at right in the front of the heart, because there's a lot of you that just are looped in right in the front of the heart. So this one's a little bit different than clearing cords. This one you're going to, again, with your intention and your awareness, I consciously disconnect this energetic loop from the collective creation of scarcity. And you're going to draw that energy loop, because this is your energy. You're going to draw it back into you. So you're going to reclaim that energy. So just breathe and feel that loop becoming shorter and shorter, making its way to that beautiful layer of violet flame energy. So we're not drawing dirty energy back to you. You're drawing energy that has been cleared and transmuted. Big breath. Feeling those energetic loops coming back to you, where you can use that energy in a more nourishing way for yourself, or a more empowered way. Just drawing it in, feeling that energy being cleared, and that beautiful, bright, clear energy coming all the way back in. Take a big breath, let yourself assimilate it. Feel how your energy is getting bigger. Beautiful. Bring all those loops back in. Pay attention to at the base of the skull. Big breath in. Bring it all the way back. And notice, allow yourself to really experience how you feel. As you return your energy, as you reconnect. And as you allow these clearings, as you allow this reclamation of your energy, pay just a moment of attention to your groundedness, because as we grounded initially and we're continuing to ground through this process, feel how you are now grounding an expanded version of yourself. So as we go through this process, you are changed from when we started. So feel the reality of that. Ground yourself really into that new space. Beautiful. And now let's look at one more together, because it was brought up. And so let's just shift our awareness over to the collective co-creation. And this is nothing, there's no judgment. This is simply an expansion of our awareness of what we're capable of. But let's look at the energetics of feeling that because we are empathic, we have to carry the energy of others, whether that's the entire collective, whether that's our family, whether that's society. Feel how heavy that is. This is another big one. We're looking at some big ones today. And for a lot of you, this looks like hundreds even of little tethers from your cells, from your body, your heart, your mind, just into that empaths have to carry energy of others. That's not true. So let your body show you where you're corded, where you're tethered, where you're looped. Lots of loops in the mental body, so really pay attention. But you can do this. Everyone can do this. So let's take a big breath in. And sometimes even I like to just create some space between this and the collective co-creation, because this feels, as soon as we brought it in our awareness, it's right there. It feels like it's pressing on my face. So let's just take a big breath, and to start, create some distance, okay? There. Now, with your awareness, your consciousness, consciously disconnect from the energetics of the wounded empath. Allowing those cords to disconnect, dissolve. Allowing that beautiful, gentle, yet powerful presence of Saint Germain to just pour into each and every place where those cords resided. Just breathing, allowing that energy to flow in. And breathe. And you may feel the awareness of there's repatterning that happens, because sometimes when we've been familiar, when it's familiar to be in these loops, you can feel when we start to disconnect how there's not only a clearing, but there's a repatterning. As I said, we're grounding into a new energetic template. So breathe into that, allow yourself to expand into it. Now let's look at all those loops. Feel where you've been looped. Draw your loops back. That's your energy. Allow your energy to return to you, becoming clear, cleansed. Draw all of your energy back. Passing through that beautiful violet flame. Can you feel how your whole body wants to expand into that new space? So take a big breath, let your shoulders widen out, let your heart lift. Really settle in. Let's do one more pass. I want everyone to feel on the back side of their body. Let's just look and feel for any remaining little loops or tethers. A couple more hanging out there. So just pull them out, draw it in. Now again, ground this in. Send this energy, this new expanded energy down your grounding cord, grounding your physical body into this new energetic template. Big breath in, ground your physical body. Let's take another big breath in. We're going to ground our emotional body simply with our intention. I ground my emotional body. Big breath in. Big breath out. Let yourself sink in. Let's take a big breath in and ground the mental body. Big breath in. Big breath out, grounding the mental body. Can you feel how much more space you're taking up now? Big breath in. Let's ground the energetic spiritual body. Beautiful. Now, as we continue to breathe and assimilate, let's start to draw our awareness back from that expanded space. Let's start to draw it back through our galaxy, our solar system. Bringing it all the way back through the earth, our atmosphere. Drawing your awareness all the way back to your current presence here in whatever room you're in. And taking a moment, taking your time before you open your eyes, because I like to suggest that people open their eyes slowly. Don't feel as though you are popping out of one space into another. As we mentioned on the beginning of the call, bring everything that you just did with you. So when you open your eyes, can continue to feel the presence of the shift that you just experienced right here with you. So when you feel ready, opening the eyes first with a soft gaze.
Beautiful, thank you. How's everybody doing? There was like, I think 3 processes that we did in that one process. How is everyone doing? I'm trying to stay in that space, to be honest. So I know I sound a lot calmer and more relaxed and more at peace, for sure. Olga says, what an experience, no words. Awesome.
This is one of my favorite things to do, is just to, it's so powerful when we come into these spaces together, how we can just shift. And everyone feel how much bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, and taller, I was just gonna say, and more expanded. I feel like I can breathe more easily and deeper, right? Yawning and yawning. Awesome,
Yep.
Sarah.
Lots of clearing happening.
Yeah, deep shifts, Ellen says. Awesome. Cindy says, thank you. Beautiful. Good. Keep feeling it, right? Abby says, field feels stronger.
Yeah.
Good. So we can always go back and do this process again using different themes, right?
Yeah,
For ourselves.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And without judgment, sometimes because something has been very familiar, we might have to do a similar theme a few times, and that's fine, because we heal sometimes in layers, we shift and grow in layers. But this will strengthen your awareness to notice more quickly, oh, I've tethered myself, so then you can just go back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to help with your awareness of where you are being tethered. Manisha says, thank you, Elaina, for this very powerful process. I could not stop yawning and eyes watering away. Lots of release. Yeah, mine too. My eyes were also watering, which is the
Yeah.
right one.
Yeah, our body knows how we will release energy most easily. So yawning, coughing, hearing, all the things.
I'm still yawning.
Yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
because these things, we have a close to the process in one regard, and then in another, it's not necessarily an on-off switch. So everyone drink a lot of water just to support your body, because we moved a lot of energy. And yeah, you
Yes.
may still be yawning, may need to go for a walk or just.
Absolutely. Olga says, yawned a lot when working on the heart. Oh, good. Thank you, Elaina. Enjoying still. Good. Continue to enjoy.
Feels yummy now. Not that it didn't, but
It feels yummier. So I just realized, Elaina, that we have not talked about your special offer. Oops. So I want to just take a moment to do that. So I'm going to share my screen. It's very short, very quick, everyone. So stay in the energy, stay in the space that you're in. Okay. But let me just share this with you 1 second. Whoops. It's like, when we started doing the process and everything, we were just in it, and I didn't even think about it beforehand. So I was like, oh,
we're
okay,
just
so-
flowing.
Exactly. Oh, hold on. That didn't work properly. 1 second. We'll do it again. Okay, so it's a very simple special offer page. It's basically a personal session, an intuitive energy session with Elaina. And so Elaina, I'll let you talk about it. What the intuitive energy session with you is like.
Yeah, I tell people that I can never say exactly what it is. I can say what it may be. So I just call it opening up the space, and we go where we're guided. So it's just a very personal experience of, I open up the energy and I kind of work with my team, with my ability to sense, I sense and feel blocks in my own body in terms of where we need to go with a person. Sometimes someone's guides come in, sometimes it's simply energy work, sometimes we clear like we do here. It can really be many things, which is why I love it, because it's always an adventure.
Absolutely. So basically it's a session with Elaina, and for whatever is coming up in your field, in your life at the time, there's a payment plan available. Of course, if you're an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code. There's some wonderful testimonials about people who have had sessions with Elaina. So please do take a look at those as well. And just, book your session with Elaina. You saw how she works in this session that we did today. So it's part of that. It could be part of that. It could be something totally different. Like we just said. So
it's hard to describe, but yeah, it's just a more personalized version of what we did. But
yeah,
we use all of our tools.
Exactly. So tune in, tap in, and see how that resonates with you, and book your session with Elaina so that you can get clearer, right? So Ellen said the collective seems so normal and familiar. Now, not anymore. Good, awesome. Heyman says, thank you, Elaina. Lots of release. Awesome. And that's the thing. You want to release and let go, and then you want to just be in this more expanded space more and more, and get comfortable with this expanded space. Instead of that space that felt normal before,
yes.
Get comfortable with this space now and make this your new normal.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up, because that's exactly what we're doing, as we're expanding our normal all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
We're expanding our familiar.
Yeah. Cool. So, wow. So yeah, drink lots of water. You might want to move around. I remember you saying during the session or the process that you just did, like 1 second after I started moving around, you said, and move your body if you feel like you need to move. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. Sometimes your body will just do it.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like, trust, right? So trust your own experience as well.
You had some help from your dogs, Diane.
Yeah. Diana said the dog started barking, pawing at me and jumping on my lap. Towards the end. Nice. And yeah, and that's the thing too, sometimes, we were talking about this earlier, how sometimes when you want to meditate, the dogs start barking and everything. I was like, yep, been there, done that. It's like,
Yeah.
like they're totally fine right before, and it's like, okay, this is a perfect time to meditate. And I go sit down, I'm in my seat, I'm in my zone, and then bang, they start
Yes.
barking like crazy. I'm like, really?
Yeah, I'm a person that if there's an animal needing rescue anywhere in the vicinity, they find me. And so I have a house full of lots of furry heartbeats. So there's
Aw,
always
nice.
little beings wanting to share my space.
Oh, nice. Yeah, my two are rescued as well. And it's like, it's just such lovely energy, such lovely, I just love my boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's so amazing. Sarah says, I really wanted to get up and make a cup of tea when the process started, but now I don't want to move except for breathing. Perfect. So just,
Perfect. Yeah,
be in
just
that space.
marinate.
Yeah,
Everyone I feel we can just marinate.
absolutely. Justine says, as a Reiki practitioner, expanding my awareness will help me send distance healing. Thank you.
Mm,
Awesome. Good. Yeah, this was awesome. This was wonderful. We all loved it. Olga says, thank you for making this wonderful session possible and meeting Elaina. Yes, absolutely. So like I said, it's the first time for this show. I know you've been on other shows, but I'm glad you were able to be here today with us. And I'm glad we didn't
Yeah.
have to reschedule. I mean, we did
Me
reschedule
too.
before because I was
Yeah.
traveling, and it's like, but yeah, we didn't really want to reschedule again. So any last words of wisdom for us, Elaina? I know there was so much wisdom during this whole call and that wonderful process as well, but anything else that you wanted to share or your guides wanted to share with us about anything? I'm like so at peace, so like nothing is coming into my mind about what else could there possibly be, but I'm sure there's something that you can share.
I keep just being shown that we're in this place of just such a big place of expansion to where even the modalities that we're familiar with are an option. And also, I just feel like I'm supposed to share this. If something has been coming that maybe you haven't seen before, or maybe isn't like a traditional process, just give yourself permission.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so, I mean, I know for myself, when I do my processes, it's always in the moment. It's all channeled. I never know ahead of time what I'm going to do. So it's like, I just allow it to flow, right?
Yeah.
So being a conduit of the energies of the divine, of just being of service, just allowing the processes to flow, the energies to flow, and trusting that, everything is perfect and everything will flow as it's meant to for whoever is in front of us, right? Including ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. Trust and receive, right? Trust, receive, allow. And then as you trust, receive, and allow and embody, right, those energies, those frequencies, you automatically start to radiate those out. So you don't have to, there is no doing really, there's only a being.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that doing, we don't have to do, we just have to be, but we do have to embody. And so that the gap between our personality selves and our I am presence is getting smaller and smaller, for sure. And the more that we do this type of work, the more that we will start to be more of that I am presence, and allowing our personality to embody that energy, that essence, that experience more and more in a fuller way is going to help not just us, but the collective as well.
Yeah.
Right. And that's going to help us. Thank you. And that's going to help us to be aware more of those thought forms that were, connected into those loops, that were connected into those patterns, so that we can start to clear and release those with more. And sometimes, they will just automatically start to release once you start to embody that greater aspect of yourself, your I am presence more and more. Those things will just start to automatically start to dissolve. That's
absolutely
my understanding.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like you and I could talk all day, but certainly, as we're doing this, we are raising our vibration. And as we do that, as we're shifting our frequency, then the tendency for those heavy things to even be looped in starts to clean up on its own, as you said. So yeah, it just gets more fun.
Yeah,
And that's what we're
exactly.
here to do, right? Let this be fun.
Yes, we're here to thrive and be in joy and awaken to happiness now, not tomorrow,
Yeah,
not 5 years from now, but
exactly.
now, right?
Yes.
And we can all do that more and more every day. So thank you so much, Elaina, for this wonderful call and the process. Thank you, everybody, for your questions, your feedback, your presence here as well on the show. So gratefully received. So thank you. And again, we're sending you so many blessings, Elaina, for everything that you're going through. And like I said, if you need any more support, please do reach out. And for everybody tomorrow, just letting you know, our show tomorrow is at 10 a.m. Eastern. Just letting you know ahead of time, 10 a.m. Eastern. All right. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Be kind to yourself. Be gentle. Drink water. Ground. Stay in this
Lots
energy.
of water. Yes.
Stay in this energy. Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. So until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I hope you can sleep, Elaina. Get some sleep.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
All right, bye, everyone.
Bye.